Welcome to South Aussie Shooting Channel. Today's video will be about how to reload 223 Remington on a Dillion 550B press. And to start off, I'll get the packet of 223 Remington, and you can get anything, any brass you want. It doesn't matter if it's old, used, whatever. I just bought them from my local store, and what I learnt with the 308 is that when you buy them new from the factory or wherever, that they need to be resized to your dies again, because some of the brass has defects and bulges, or it damaged the lip of the case, get a bit bent, so it straightens them back up again, and then it might fit in your chamber a little bit better, because some brass that is brand new and you go to chamber it in your rifle, it doesn't chamber properly, and your bolt won't go all the way down. It might be just that it's a bit too long and you need to trim your brass. Depending on what brass you get, is different lengths and tolerances and stuff like that. But Remington is the cheapest, basically, one you can get the whole of Australia, basically, apart from used brass that you can get off the range, or people just don't want them. So what we do is, new brass, you don't have to tumble because they're already basically clean, so you don't worry about tumbling. If you want to tumble it, then you tumble it first. I got a lube mat here, the Smart Reloader ones. It's got the holder for the brass to go in there. They got the small holes for 223 or whatever, and you got 308 for the bigger calibers. So then you can see when you're putting powder and stuff in there, you just leave it in there and be able to look above it to see if powder's in there. I have RBS CBS lube. All you do is unscrew it, and then all you do is drip the lube on the mat. These bottles are pretty hard. I put it around the whole thing because I'm doing about 100 at a time, and then I keep lubing the mat. It might be a bit excessive depending, some people have sprays and all that stuff. I just put the lube on, spread it around, and then get a rag or something. The mat does get a bit dirty when you've got like powder and stuff still in the cases, so it gets a bit stuck to the lube. And put my lid back on. I previously bought all the reloading gear for the Dillion, and it's already installed on there. All the sheeting depth is already done. So normally what I do is I line them all up, the heads up, does 50 at a time. Actually it does 60 at a time, so that's pretty good because it's a smaller diameter. So 60 at a time. Now what I do is, I'll show you just a heads up of what it looks like. And when you look at powder and stuff in there, when you're loading, you can see that there's powder in there. And what I do is, I normally get 10 at a time, and I put it on the mat, somewhere here up the top, put them in a line. 2 to 3 is a bit smaller, line them up. And what I do is roll it with my hand, back and forth, also pushing at the front of the cases because the necks need to be oiled as well. And that's all you need until they're sticky. It's like paint. You're rolling it, you'll hear that sound, and that's all you need. And then you just keep doing it, moving down into the middle now, and then the third row will go down the bottom, and then we'll put these down the bottom. The oils and lube spread evenly. And sometimes you have to reapply oil because that if it doesn't have enough on it, it will get stuck in the press pretty easy. So if you keep reapplying, if you just use the spray, you can also do like that, and just all you do is just spray it, and it's easier than doing what I'm doing right now. It's just I just bought the lube and got to use it up until I buy the spray, and then I'll show you another video with the spray. Preparing brass does take a really long time, so make sure you haven't got any distractions while you're trying to get it done, because you might miss a step and have to start over. The oil from the first cases will make the dye a bit more sticky inside the dye, so then if some aren't oiled properly, it shouldn't be too hard to get them to come out. Then wipe your hands with a rag, not get on the press handle or else it be a bit sticky. And use a cotton t-shirt, get it off. And then all I do is turn it around. And now the press part. Okay, just start one by one in rows of 10, putting them in the press and moving them up, pressing all the way down and it's decapping as well, but the unprimed brass hasn't got any primer in it, so it will just go through, no worries. And now that has, it would, the top of the neck would be sized, and it'll be a perfect circle. So any if it's not got the proper dimensions on the case, now it has. And you just basically keep doing that until all cases are done. And because it's a progressive press, it's very effortless. In single stage one, you would still be doing one at a time, but this is depriming and sizing at the same time, so it's doing two jobs every case. Some you have to use the hand prime tool before you do it. Normally what I do after I size them all is clean it with the cotton rag and grips of 10 still. Then I get the digital caliper and measure every one. See if it's 1.760, I think, around there, 50. Or I might have to trim it as well, even though it's new brass. It should be the correct length. Depending if you're loading on for precision or not, or just hunting ammo, it doesn't really matter. And now the next step is getting the glass and cleaning the lube off of it. So we grab a few pieces of glass, get a t-shirt, and then basically get that and rub all the lube off. Cotton t-shirt. or a towel and get all the crap off, because you don't need lube in the other dies. Put them away. And that's it. The last step is to measure the cases to check that they're the right length and not too long, because you might need to trim them. And it's on 000 now. All we do is pull it back until it's enough to fit the case, and then move it down, and it's should be around there, around 1750, depending on how it's made. You can get different measurements all the time, so depending on how square the diameter of the thing is. And you just do that for all your cases, and trim them when they get too long.